Hello aviation enthusiast, welcome back to Skyward Fighter, where we dive into the world of cutting-edge aviation technology. Today, we're unraveling a mystery that's been buzzing around for months: the U.S. Air Force's F-47 fighter. If you've seen the images of this next-gen fighter jet, you might be thinking you've gotten a good look at it, right? Well, think again. The photos you've been seeing have been heavily edited, and they might not even look anything like the real thing. Stick around to find out why. The hidden secrets of the F-47 next-generation fighter. So what's going on with these photos? According to multiple sources within the U.S. Air Force and defense industry experts, the two key images of Boeing's F-47 have been altered heavily. These images are supposed to showcase the U.S. Air Force's next-generation air dominance NGAD platform. But they're more like an illusion than an actual representation of the fighter. The Air Force has deliberately kept most of the aircraft's design features hidden. Why? Because they want to keep potential adversaries guessing. They want to keep the world in the dark about just what this fighter really looks like. Think about it. If you were an adversary, wouldn't you want to know everything about a plane before it hits the skies? Well, the USAF is making sure they're not giving anything away, keeping the enemy in the dark. This isn't the first time the Air Force has done something like this. When the F-22 Raptor was in development, similar tactics were used. They intentionally released misleading images to throw off foreign intelligence. And guess what? We didn't get a clear view of the Raptor until its official rollout in 1990. The F-47 stealth fighter seems to be following that same playbook, keeping the details to a minimum, especially after Boeing's design was chosen. The Air Force wanted to make sure no one could guess too much about this jet, and it worked. These distorted images don't give us much of a clue. Is the F-47 just an art project? Now, here's where it gets even more intriguing. Are these images just notional designs? Or could they be something more? The officials and even President Trump himself hinted that the images were only the tip of the iceberg, meaning they were still just rough concepts. Some experts believe these images might be just artistic interpretations, not the real thing. And the Air Force has now confirmed it. An Air Force official recently said, and I quote, "Take these images with a grain of salt," emphasizing that we aren't giving anything away. So, why release anything at all? That's the big question. This isn't about giving us, the public, the full picture. It's about keeping the world on edge. The Air Force doesn't want to give foreign intelligence an easy target. And they've done it before. Think back to the B-2 Spirit, a stealth bomber that was released in 1988. Images of it were so edited that it was impossible to make out most of its features. Similarly, the F-117 Nighthawk was shrouded in secrecy for years. The bottom line is this: the Air Force wants to keep its enemies guessing, and they've used photo manipulation as a tool for years. What are we really looking at? So, let's talk about what we do know. What does the F-47 fighter actually look like? Well, the two official images we have show the fighter emerging from the shadows of a hangar, and another one showing it in flight, surrounded by a vapor cone, something that forms when an aircraft hits transonic speeds. From what we can see, the aircraft has a striking design, with elements that appear to come from Boeing's older YF-118G bird of prey, a technology demonstrator from the 1990s. Design choices and confusions. Looking at the images, we can make a few educated guesses. The F-47 seems to feature a canard configuration, 4 planes placed beside the cockpit, following the wing's dihedral angle. This is a bold choice because canard configurations, though improving maneuverability, are typically considered an enemy of low observability, a key feature in stealth technology. Why would Boeing make this decision? It could be that they are prioritizing maneuverability and stability over stealth. But keep in mind, this is all based on what little we know from the heavily altered images. Could Boeing be hiding more? So, why all the secrecy? Could the Air Force be hiding more about the F-47 fighter than just the basic features? Let's talk about the possible configurations we've seen in these images. Boeing may have opted for a tailless design, or perhaps a delta or cranked arrow wing planform. These shapes would be highly effective for maneuvering, but they're not typically associated with a pronounced dihedral, meaning they're not your usual fighter jet designs. And here's the kicker. The images don't show us the tail or the engines. Why? Could it be that Boeing wants to throw off foreign intelligence with designs that don't match the real thing? The stealth game continued. It's not just about keeping the aircraft hidden. It's about confusing enemies. The images are purposely vague, and that's the point. For all we know, the actual F-47 might look completely different from these renderings. Boeing's goal here is clear. They want adversaries to waste their time guessing what the aircraft looks like, while they quietly develop the real version in secrecy. The F-47's mysterious past. Now, let's take a deeper dive into how this all connects to Boeing's legacy of secretive designs. Did you know that the origins of the F-47 date back to a series of secret aircraft developed under DARPA's X-plane program? Boeing and Lockheed Martin each built their own X-planes as risk reduction prototypes for the NGAD platform. Boeing's demonstrator flew in 2019, and Lockheed's in 2022. These X-planes have been crucial in testing new technologies that will eventually make their way into the F-47. The secretive X-planes. These X-planes are a huge deal because they test out the advanced tech that will shape the future of air dominance. Boeing's 2019 X-plane was a full-scale flight demonstrator, and it already broke records. These flights are just the beginning. According to DARPA, they've been laying the groundwork for the F-47's design for the past 5 years, flying hundreds of hours and pushing technological boundaries. So when the F-47 rolls out, it won't just be a fighter, it'll be a culmination of years of secretive R&D. The F-47's future and the Air Force's big decision. All right, you're probably wondering, when will we see the real F-47 stealth fighter? How long will we have to wait before the Air Force finally unveils this fighter in its full glory? The answer, unfortunately, is a bit unclear. But we know the stakes are high. The Air Force made its selection based on the best overall value, but the details of what that exactly means are still sealed. What we do know is that Boeing's proposal was chosen because it is the best fit to fulfill the Air Force's complex needs and bring them into the next era of aerial warfare. The F-47 is not just another fighter. It's being designed with a multi-role capability, combining stealth, speed, and advanced avionics to support everything from air superiority to strike missions. Beyond just a weapon of war, this plane will be an intelligent platform capable of integrating with unmanned systems, cyber tools, and even space assets, transforming the way the Air Force conducts operations. With all that in mind, it's clear the Air Force is moving cautiously but decisively. They understand the importance of getting this right, especially considering the evolving threats from near-peer adversaries like China and Russia, who are investing heavily in their own cutting-edge aircraft. But here's the twist. The F-47 fighter could very well change the timeline on how air combat is waged. When it arrives, it could potentially be the most advanced fighter ever seen. But when will that happen? The clock is ticking. If Boeing's proposal stays on track, we're looking at a potential unveiling in the next decade, but specific timelines for production and deployment are closely guarded. There's no room for mistakes here. The Air Force is also working to make sure the F-47 integrates seamlessly into existing infrastructure, meaning it's not just about building the best fighter, but ensuring it's operable in a networked environment with legacy systems. Why the wait? What's holding up the F-47? It's not just about the aircraft's design. It's about how it will perform in future high-end conflicts. The F-47 isn't just a new fighter jet, it's the centerpiece of a larger strategy for air superiority in the coming decades. The U.S. Air Force has spent years refining the NGAD program, making sure every aspect is tailored to meet the toughest requirements. And yes, there are still plenty of unknowns, especially regarding its price, which could range from $160 million to $180 million per unit. That's way above the cost of an F-35. So there you have it, the shocking truth behind the USAF's F-47 fighter. We've seen the images, but we still don't know the full story. What do you think? Is the F-47 really a game changer? Or is it just another well-crafted illusion to throw off our enemies? We'll just have to wait and see. But one thing's for sure. The F-47 is going to be one of the most advanced and mysterious fighter jets the world has ever seen. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our latest updates. Until next time, stay tuned and keep your eyes on the skies. Skyward Fighter, signing off.